In other news here tonight, a major employer around Canton, the Corning Plant. It's getting $32 million from Washington to help it with its role in the semiconductor business. We learn more about it with 7 News reporter Gage Kilborn.
On Friday, the Corning Plant, just outside of Canton, received $32 million from the Biden-Harris administration.
It's a tremendous opportunity for the local facility, for the county, and for the company itself.
The award is a part of the administration's CHIPS and Science Act that President Biden signed 2 years ago to improve semiconductor manufacturing in the country. Semiconductors run most of our modern technology, like cell phones, computers, and our cars. The money is expected to create up to 130 jobs at the company, specifically geared towards technology. Patrick Kelly is the CEO of St. Lawrence County Industrial Development Agency, and he believes that recent graduates will be the most interested in the opportunity.
It has almost a halo effect on your local employment. So Corning, they work with our colleges and universities, they work with our BOCES system and our school districts.
While Kelly believes the new job opportunities will bring in college students, he also sees this as an opportunity for people to come to the North Country.
It's a destination employer, so having growth at those kind of employers, it helps people from the area who want to stay here, and it helps bring people here.
The $32 million will help Corning increase production of components that help manufacture semiconductors. Gage Kilborn, 7 News.